Coming up next on Locked On Devils, I got to be honest with you guys. The New Jersey Devils would have won that game if they had Curtis McDermott in the starting lineup. Oh, wow, you guys actually believed me on that? Cue the intro.
You're Locked On Devils, your daily podcast on the New Jersey Devils.
Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, my name is Zach Berman. This is Locked On Devils, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, now the #1 sports podcast network in the world, your team every day. And no, the New Jersey Devils would not have won last night's game if they had Curtis McDermott in the starting lineup. Do you know how many times that guy sat there and watched this team's best players get pounded into oblivion with no regard for human life? Too many times. And he's done the same in Ottawa. He stinks. The New Jersey Devils do not need more grit and sandpaper. They need more skill, and I will get into that and then some after last night's 5-3 infuriating loss to the Columbus Blue Jackets. Easily the worst loss of the year. Easily. Now, I've seen some takes on Twitter and, oh, this team needs more grit and sandpaper. They need more players that are big and mean and can beat other teams up. Well, let me tell you something. The amount of heart and fight that this team provided last night in the physicality standpoint, they might not have won all of their fights, but they were not backing down from them. And to me, that matters more than grit and sandpaper. Oh, this team needs so much more aggression. Oh, they're soft. Trade Jesper Bratt away for Braden Shen. This team needs Sam Bennett. No, they don't. Last night's game did not go the way it did because the New Jersey Devils do not possess enough grit and sandpaper. They don't possess enough skill. Like I've been saying over the last few weeks, and I've been called, Doomer, you're overreacting. This team does not have enough skill. They are not as good as their record implies, 16-9-1, because of a lack of depth and poor goaltending, which are the same issues that have plagued the New Jersey Devils almost every year of Tom Fitzgerald's tenure. And what really bugs me is that the players who have needed to step up in the absence of Jack Hughes have done just that. Nico Hischier has been amazing. Timo Meier has been amazing. Both of them scored last night. Jesper Bratt has been the most snake-bitten player in the National Hockey League, and even he is driving play, assisting goals. He's been every bit as good as he's ever been, except just the hockey gods are pissed at him for some ungodly reason. He has 21 points. I am not concerned about Jesper Bratt. Someone commented last night, we should strip the captaincy from Nico Hischier. What? Yeah, let's piss off one of the few players on this team who actually shows up and produces every night. Great idea. You should be hired by the front office. What are we doing? The reason this team, I fear for their season and I fear for their ceiling, I fear for so many aspects of this organization is not because Nico Hischier is captain, is not because, they can't take a hit. Oh, you know what? The reason they stink right now is because they're not skilled enough. The bottom six is horrendous. Their defense is beaten up to hell and back with injuries, and Brendan Dillon, who I'll get into the whole thing eventually. I feel so bad for him, man. Like, your 1,000th game in the National Hockey League, such a special night for him and his family. Someone who has been nothing but a class act in his entire National Hockey League career, represents everything a New Jersey Devil should. And he gets jumped by the Columbus Blue Jackets. What a joke. What a joke that, I can't, I want to get his, I wanted to get his name right. Dmitry Voronkov. What a joke. What a Bush League play. Dylan never even dropped the gloves. He wasn't ready. He was jumped. Complete Bush League. No right for that to be in the National Hockey League. And how was Brendan Dillon allowed back on the bench yesterday? I mean, that's a failure on the medical staff. Like, I saw him on the bench. I was like, what? He was clearly concussed. That man's brain is on another planet right now. But why do the New Jersey Devils stink in my eyes? Stefan Nason is completely washed. What happened? What happened there? Juho Lamiko, what does he provide? I don't know. Luke Glendening, what does he provide? Paul Cotter stinks. Dmitry Filipovich went in on the bottom six yesterday. He said they're a joke because they are. The bottom six has always been a joke, really, since 22-23. It's pathetic. The New Jersey Devils had to play yesterday with 4 defensemen because Jonas Siegenthaler got ejected for absolutely no reason. And one of those four defensemen is Dennis Cholowski, who shouldn't be on an AHL roster right now. Dennis Cholowski. Dougie Hamilton stinks. What happened there? Luke Hughes. I'm not going to say he stinks, but he stinks. He's not a bad player. I understand that, and I will be the first person to say he needs to be benched. He needs to be benched for a game for his own sake. For his own sake. It is not fair to him right now that he is being thrown out there with all of these expectations, and he can't live up to that right now. He is so in his own head, making these lazy, cocky, stupid, no-look passes. He is putting his team in danger every time he's out on the ice, and they're getting burned. He and Simone Nemec had a terrible game yesterday. You have to split up Nemo and Luke. I called for that yesterday morning. That didn't happen, and they got burned. I'm not concerned about Luke Hughes in the long run. I'm really not. But for his own sake, you have to bench him for a game. Just to get his head right. It's the same thing as Dawson Mercer last year. You hold out for a contract, you miss training camp, and you're automatically behind. Look what happened to Willie Nylander when he held out. Same thing. But he needs it for himself more than anything else. Forget the team. He's hurting the team by being out there right now. For him. Dougie's going to be gone at some point this season. I'm pretty confident in that now because he has the least amount of trade protection out of all the big contracts that Fitzgerald has signed over the years. And going off the fact that now Darren Dreger believes that Quinn Hughes could in fact be acquired by the Devils this season. Please God, that'd be so cool. Yeah, Darren Dreger said last night he thinks the Devils are all on board for getting Quinn in the season if they can. I don't even know what that would cost. But that's neither here nor there, because if the Devils don't turn things around, they might be selling at the deadline instead of buying. With the way the Metropolitan Division is shaking up, with the way this division stands right now, yeah, the Devils are still in second place. That's wonderful. That's great. Hallelujah. Pop the champagne. They're 5 points away from being in dead last in the Metro. 5 points away from being dead last. With the way Jake Allen played last night, it was unacceptable. I understand that. I think the win-o-meter was very kind to the Devils yesterday. You can say it was a goalie loss, and I think that's putting too much of it on Jake Allen. But at the same time, he was really bad last night. Let's not act like he wasn't. This team is going to go as far as Jacob Markstrom takes them, because the more you run Jake Allen in the regular season, the worse he plays. There's tangible evidence of that. So they need Jacob Markstrom to step up and be so much better than what he is. And we know what Jacob Markstrom is capable of at his best. But right now it has not been good enough, and he needs to be better. Needs to be better. Because last night from Jake Allen was proof that you're running him out there way too many times. You can't rely on him to be a 1A. You just can't. Yeah, last night was just a joke of a game. Like, what, 60 penalty minutes in the second period? And let me be honest with you. I thought the Devils' response to the way Brendan Dillon was jumped was completely warranted, and I have zero problems with how the team handled it in the physicality side. Zero. Timo Meier took on like 6 Blue Jackets last night by himself. And I know that, Timo's streaky, Timo's this, Timo's that. Let me tell you, Timo Meier brings more grit and sandpaper than these plugs that everyone in the Devils is calling to. Everyone in this fan base is like, oh, we got to bring in more plugs. Let me tell you, Timo Meier is everything that this team needs from a physicality standpoint. Guess what? And he scores. He cares. He cares. He is awesome. I love Timo Meier. The Devils are lucky to have him. And yeah, the contract sometimes when he's a little streaky, it might be steep. But guess what? He gives a damn and is not afraid to throw the body. That is what the Devils need more of. I don't want players that can throw the body just because they can. I want players that are good at hockey that can throw the body. And Timo Meier is that. You know who isn't? Curtis McDermott. We know Curtis McDermott, grit and sandpaper, strip the captaincy from Nico. Shut up. This team is going to live and die on how much depth they have and how much their goaltending carries them. And if neither of those things are doing well, then they're going to miss the playoffs, and Tom Fitzgerald should rightfully lose his job over it. Let's take a break, and we'll walk back through the official game summary, because grit and sandpaper, Curtis McDermott, bring back Mason Geertsen. You're listening to Locked On Devils. Sorry for the quick change in scenery, but today's episode is brought to you by our friends at Drip Drop. When I'm hydrated, everything just works better. My focus, energy, mood, even my skin. That's why I've been using Drip Drop. It's doctor-developed hydration that keeps me running at full power no matter what my day looks like. Drip Drop isn't your average sports drink. It delivers 3 times the electrolytes and half the sugar of leading brands, using a science-backed formula trusted by medical professionals, firefighters, and over 90% of top college and pro teams. It actually tastes amazing. It's become my secret weapon for staying sharp and energized throughout long days. Hydration has become non-negotiable for me. Drip Drop helps me feel sharper, calmer, and just better overall. Right now, Drip Drop is offering podcast listeners 20% off your first order. Go to dripdrop.com and use promo code LOCKEDONNHL. That is dripdrop.com, promo code LOCKEDONNHL for 20% off. Stock up now before the heat hits hard. It's still 80 degrees down here in West Palm Beach, and keep your body and mind performing at their best with Drip Drop, because I, in my time here in Florida, have certainly been doing so. Drip Drop, part of today's episode. Back here on Locked On Devils. Devils once again losing 5-3, and we can break down the goal-by-goal summary of the game. But what has been lost in all the hubbub, given that there were so many penalty minutes in the second period, the New Jersey Devils blew a 2-0 lead in this game. You can't be blowing a 2-0 lead at home to the last place team in the division, not given how tight the standings are. And I don't even think the first two Devils goals are important to talk about because I mean, yeah, great. They scored twice in the first 3 minutes of the game. Nico Hischier scored, and then Andre Palat scored. Yeah, I didn't even know Palat was allowed to score, but good for him to get on the board. And it really felt like that New Jersey Devils came out with fire and fury, and they're firing on all cylinders. It's great. It felt wonderful. So then Brendan Dillon gets called for a hook. And the first Columbus goal from Denton Matejchuk, I can't really blame Jake Allen for. It was a weird deflection in the slot. Oh, well, you give up a power play goal, fine. Late in the first period, the Devils score, and it gets overturned due to goalie interference. This is a call that I disagree with. I did not think it was goalie interference. I thought that Dante Fabro pushed Stefan Nason into Elvis Merzlikins. To me, it was a bad call. It was very obviously a game-changing call because the Devils would have had a 3-1 lead after one, and it left a really sour taste in my mouth going into the second period. The Devils, unfortunately, have... When you watch this team enough, you know that a moment like that is going to come back and sting. You just know. I felt really good about that game until the game was over, until the goal was overturned. That, in my mind, shifted this game to, all right, when are they going to blow it and how are they going to blow it? And they certainly blew it. Second period, everything happens. Just the fights, the this, the that. And then Luke Hughes and Jonas Siegenthaler are on together for a quick shift. And Siegenthaler just gets walked. Sean Monahan dangles around him. It's a beauty. The game's tied. And the officiating last night was bad. I'm not going to mince words here. But once again, if your goalie is playing bad, that to me bothers me more than any officiating could be. The New Jersey Devils did not lose yesterday's game because of the refs, the same way they did not lose Saturday night's game because of the refs. But after the way the second period went, I felt that the way they'd come out in the third period would say everything about them. And I think it said everything about them. And I think it proved a lot of points that I was called a doomer for screaming to the heavens about on Saturday night. This is not a good hockey team right now. This just isn't. And to come out in the third period and immediately give up 2 goals, that can't happen. And neither of those goals should go in. But Luke Hughes got dummied by Miles Wood. That can't happen. Charlie Coyle cleans up the garbage in front. It's 3-2. And before the Devils can even breathe, Simone Nemec gets dummied by it was Miles Wood again. He gets dummied by Miles Wood. They lose the puck, and Monahan puts it home. So all of a sudden, it's now 4-2. Bad teams give up goals in bunches. The Devils have had a problem with giving up goals in bunches for years. 2 goals in 35 seconds. Unacceptable. And yet they weren't out of it. Timo Meier scores in the power play. It's 4-3. And let's be honest here. Did you or I think for a second that despite Timo Meier scoring in that spot, the Devils would come back to win the game? No. Less than 2 minutes later, you really thought this game was going to go a full 60 without an ex-Devil scoring? Jake Allen, just a complete what-the-hell pass to Luke Hughes. He can't control it. Coyle rips it away from him, sets up Miles Wood all alone in front. 5-3. That's the game. It's a terrible, unacceptable loss for a team. I called Saturday an unacceptable loss. This game made Saturday feel reassuring in comparison. This was pathetic. What more is there to say? Everything I said about this team right now is right. They're not skilled enough. The goaltending isn't good enough. And Luke and Nemec need to be split up. Luke probably needs to be benched. If they were fully healthy, I think he would have been benched by now. it's crazy to me that you look at the standings and you feel like things are not as dire, and then you watch them on the ice. You look at the schedule coming up with Dallas, Vegas, and Boston, all three teams playing well. I mean, their December is so hyper concentrated. 2 weeks from now, we could very easily be seeing the Devils the bottom of the standings, both in the Metropolitan Division and in the Eastern Conference, and I would not be remotely surprised. The Devils need help. They need a trade to be made or something, and you see the names that are getting thrown around for guys the Devils are interested in. Braden Shen, Jonathan Marchessault, Steven Stamkos. All of these guys are washed, expensive bums. None of them are going to make this team better. I mean, after the Jacob Markstrom extension, how can you even allow Tom Fitzgerald to make any moves? How can you even have him as the GM here? Like, he is just making everything worse. Like, I'm losing my mind here, guys. Like, what are we doing? What are we doing? Steven Stamkos is not going to help this team win. Maybe he would have a few years ago, but there's a reason Nashville's trying to get rid of him. And you know what concerns me? All three of those players that I mentioned, Tom Fitzgerald has tried really hard for in the past. Can a brother learn from his mistakes? Every single one of those guys he's gone for, and they've fallen through. And every single one of those deals that has fallen through has been a blessing in disguise. Why are you doubling down on this? What good does that do for you? Like I said, he should have been fired alongside Lindy Ruff. This is not helping his case. This team has a window that is, I would say, 3/4 of the way closed now because of the bad decisions that Tom Fitzgerald has made building around this core. The core is showing up. The core is not the problem. Nico Hischier being captain of the New Jersey Devils is not the problem. The problem is that you have guys surrounding this New Jersey Devils core that suck. Palat, he scored last night. Cool. He sucks. Juho Lomiko should be playing beer league hockey in Finland. He sucks. Dennis Cholowski should be a peewee coach in Minnesota. He sucks. Every year, there's 5 to 6 guys on this roster that don't belong anywhere near an NHL roster, and it feels like they swap out for one another every year. Every year, we're like, oh yeah, the dead weight's gone. Eric Halla was terrible last year. He has 17 points right now. I'm sure the Devils would love to have him back. How is it that every year the dead weight leaves and is replaced with new dead weight? Everyone was so happy to see Nathan Bastian go, and I'm not saying I want him back, but we basically have him back. His name is Luke Glendening. Brendan Smith, he was dead weight. Guess what? Dennis Cholowski, come on down. Dougie Hamilton, I will say he's dead weight right now. What has happened to Dougie Hamilton? He looks like a shell of himself. Simon Nemec has been bad in his back end, but he provides on offense. So I'm not going to sit there and absolutely rip into him. Luke Hughes, I get it. He's been playing terrible. Believe it or not, he is at the bottom of my concerns. I am concerned about the goaltending because Jake Allen very obviously cannot sustain a 40-plus game workload. So you are relying on Jacob Markstrom. Jacob Markstrom is going to be the reason this team either sinks or swims, with Brett Pesce being weeks from coming back, with Jack Hughes being weeks from coming back. You know what's interesting? Yeah, losing Jack Hughes is terrible, and I can't wait for him to come back, but scoring has not been the issue. The guys who need to step up have stepped up. But beyond the first line, this is an AHL team. Again. And this is supposed to be a Stanley Cup window? If the New Jersey Devils were to ice the team that played last night for an entire 82-game season, they are right at the bottom with Buffalo. They are right at the bottom with Nashville. They're right at the bottom with Calgary. And that is despite them having a good top line, a very good top line, and a great head coach. The roster isn't good enough. I'm going to take a quick break here, and then we can wrap up on Locked On Devils. It's a new month, and that means a new FanDuel read. So NFL Sundays move fast, one big play, and suddenly everything feels different. That's what makes live betting with FanDuel so exciting. You're not just watching the game, you're reacting in it in real time. With FanDuel, you can place bets as the action unfolds. Every drive, every momentum swing, every highlight moment. Live betting is best when the game starts to shift, a receiver gets hot, a defense tightens up, or the momentum flips after a turnover. FanDuel lets you jump live into the moment. Live spreads and money lines adjust instantly. Player props update as guys heat up. You can bet next touchdown scores, drive results, totals, and more. It keeps you locked into every snap, every drive, every possibility. I cannot even begin to tell you how much money has wound up in my pocket betting against the New York Giants every time they've gone up 10 plus points in the fourth quarter. Can't do that in Florida, but when I'm back home in New Jersey, I am betting against the Giants every time in the fourth quarter they've gone up, and it has worked like gangbusters. Please fire Joe Shane, guys. I can't do this anymore. Thank you once again to FanDuel for sponsoring today's episode. If you want to be right in the middle of the action this season, visit FanDuel.com and place your NFL live bets all season long. FanDuel, the game moves fast, and so can you. And so did that ad read. Before we wrap up here, thank you once again to you guys for tuning in. This is Locked On Devils, and it hopefully is your first listen of the day. Thank you for making the Locked On Sports Podcast Network the #1 sports podcast network in the world. And before we wrap up here, just a friendly reminder, your second listen, check out all the new Locked On NHL Game Night podcast. Every game, every night until a Stanley Cup champion is crowned. Get local analysis on a national scale. Find NHL Game Night on Locked On NHL or YouTube or wherever you listen to podcasts. We'll be back tomorrow morning previewing Devils Stars, which now feels like an absolute must-win, and Jacob Markstrom's going to be in net for it, so grab your nitroglycerin pills. All right, thank you so much for stopping by, and let's go Devils.